Hey YouTube fam, welcome back. And if you haven't been to this channel before, my name is Chiquita. I talk about all things fashion and lifestyle here. This is a brand new channel. If you're interested in this type of content, please hit the subscribe button. And if you like this video, please make sure to hit the like button as well. So today we're going to be talking about the secondhand market and in particular buying vintage handbags from eBay. eBay now has this authenticity program. So it is another seller that is trusted to buy your secondhand. I'm going to share with you the vintage Louis Vuitton Randonnee bag that just came in the mail yesterday. I'm so excited for this purchase. Now, if you've seen my previous videos, the video in particular, best and worst fashion purchases from 2024, I show you the Louis Vuitton canvas Randonnee in the GM size. So I went ahead and purchased this bag in the PM size, and I'm here to share it with you today, along with my tips for shopping on eBay, especially if you are a first-time buyer like I was myself. So I snapped a video of me unboxing this bag in particular. Now, it did not come with a dust bag, but it was bubble wrapped quite nicely, and I'm just going to show it to you. Here it is. Isn't it amazing? Like, it's in pristine condition. I really can't find like any scuffs on it too much, which is amazing. The inside looks amazing too. And I'm just going to pull it back a little bit so you can see the size a little bit more. Now, what I love about this bag and what I can tell about the PM in particular, it is quite smaller than the GM, but it's a nice size backpack. And I would use this bag in particular as a slingshot bag for sure. Like, just throw it over the shoulder. Whereas the GM, I feel like you can throw it over the shoulder like a slingshot, or you could do it like a traditional backpack. This one, I feel like it is more so for that slingshot because it doesn't have as much length in the straps too, but the straps are adjustable here. So you can change the length if you decide as well. I like the subtle gold hardware on it so that, you know, if you're wearing silver or whatever, I think mixing and matching silver is just silver and gold is fine anyway. But you know, the gold here is so subtle that you don't have to pick and choose a metal when you're wearing it. And obviously you can't see anything from the front. But this is the epi leather. And I was surprised that I chose it in red. I knew that I didn't want to buy the PM in the canvas because I already have the GM in the canvas. So I wanted to try one of the other styles. They have the PM and the GM, actually, the epi leather in both red, green, and black. So I was between the red and black in particular, but I found the best deal on the red one, actually. So as I show the unboxing right here, I'm going to share a little bit more about this bag's history. So this bag is officially 35 years old now because it came out in 1995. So as you can see, this bag has been kept in very great condition. Like, whoever had this bag, they didn't beat it up, didn't abuse it. It has stood the test of time. I feel like it is a brand new bag. So I definitely lucked up. I spent around $495 on this bag, which is a steal. On my GM, I spent around $800. So shopping on eBay was definitely a win for this one. Now, I also saw this bag on the RealReal, and it was around 600 bucks. So I could have either bought it from the RealReal or eBay. There are a few reasons why I chose eBay over the RealReal in particular. And if you know about the pre-loved market, you've probably seen stories here and there over recent years about the authenticity of the RealReal. So I had some moments where I was second guessing, did I want to get the bag from the RealReal or just go ahead with eBay? Before I dive too much into that though, why I chose eBay over the RealReal, I will tell you why I chose this bag and why I am hooked on this bag, period. So I'm not necessarily a backpack girl, but I am trying to work on my travel collection. And I feel like the Randonnee is good for traveling, actually. Now, the PM, this is my first time seeing the PM in person. So it is a little bit smaller where I feel like it can be a day-to-day bag if I want it to be. But the GM is definitely good for traveling. And I do want to like work on my travel collection, I guess you could say, in regards to the pieces that I have in my wardrobe. So with that said, getting the Randonnee, whether I travel with it or wear it more on a day-to-day here and there, I think it's good for both, but I love the bucket style of the book bag. Like, when I think about my wardrobe and I think about the handbags that I get most attracted to, I think about shape. So I'm never that person that's like, oh, this style is so trendy, everybody has it. I'm not going to buy it if I don't like the shape. The shape is the first thing for me. Just like, have you ever looked at, or buying an apartment or buying a home or renting, what are your deal breakers? What are the things that sell you on buying or renting at home? For me, the first thing about a bag is the shape. And when I think about my clothes too, I think a lot about the silhouette as well. So that's why the Randonnee has stole my heart, because of the shape in particular. This is my first epi leather bag from Louis Vuitton. I don't have like a whole lot of Louis Vuitton anyway, but I also wanted to try the epi leather. And with the Murakami Louis Vuitton launch, the Murakami Louis Vuitton collaboration happening right now, it was just kind of the perfect time to like fly under the radar and check out the vintage pieces that are out there that I should be getting right now while everybody else is focused on the hype. This bag, it was discontinued at least over a decade ago. I feel like this bag hasn't been around since the 90s. Like, it wasn't being produced in the 2000s really. So I'm not going to see a lot of people with this bag, which I love as well. Again, I'm not going to knock trends and the people that love trends, but I am an eclectic person, even with the most basics, the basicness, is that even a word? Even with the most simple things in my wardrobe, when it comes down to things, I am very eclectic with how I elevate my style. If everybody doesn't have this bag, it just caters more to my individual style and the uniqueness of me. So that's why I love it. Now, if you are interested in this bag, you can still find it on the pre-love market. I think it's just a matter of, is it your style or not? But you can still find this bag. Versatile Collective, like I said, the Real has a few options. I think Fashion File has a green epi leather PM right now on their website. And of course, eBay. You can find a lot of the canvas in both the PM and GM on eBay right now. But of course, it's going to be a matter of looking at the photos as hard as you can to make sure that the bags are in a condition that is to your standard. The quality of this bag that I have, it could have easily been sold for around $800. So I definitely lucked up with getting it for just under $500. But you can find this Randonnee style in both PM and GM on the market anywhere between $400 and like $1,000. It also puts in mind, right, my thoughts about how I'm shopping for the year. I really don't plan on buying anything that's not vintage or pre-loved this year in regards to the accessory department, in particular handbags. I'm really not prioritizing handbags this year either. So it has to be something that I really, really like and plan on wearing for years to come, and that is under a certain price point. So what you all have been waiting for, right? And that's learning how to shop on eBay for these vintage finds. I would say, number one, always think about what you're looking for. When you're shopping the vintage market on eBay, Versatile Collective, any pre-owned luxury site, know what you are looking for. I knew in particular, I was looking for the Randonnee. I wanted it in the PM. I already knew a decent amount about the bag. So I would start with that as number one when I'm shopping any site, eBay included. Number two, so why eBay? eBay now has expert authentication, and they provide it in two ways. So the first one is through a virtual authentication process. So basically the seller lets eBay know, I'm putting this online, and they go through the process of authenticating it via pictures virtually. Now the second way is actually in-person expert authentication. Both of these are provided. Now, how in-person expert authentication works is, let's say the bag is marked that it includes expert authentication. If the bag is marked that way, then when I go to check out, I can select for them to send it to an expert before they ship it to me. So it will go from the seller to the expert, and then it will come to me. Now, there are particular handbags that offer that. This particular bag did not. Even though it didn't offer the in-person expert authentication, I chose it because I felt like all of the pictures were very transparent. They were very detailed. It even showed the serial number on the bag. So I felt really confident. I was spending just under $500 on the bag. And another thing, when people are counterfeiting a lot, they typically go for the things that are trending a lot. So I'm not going to say that, there are people out here making a bunch of counterfeits for the Murakami launch. But if anything, you might see more counterfeits on the market for something like that everybody wants versus something that is 30 years old, ain't nobody talking about, et cetera, et cetera. So I felt like I was safe with just having the virtual inspection. Now, just to clarify, every bag, every luxury item, it does by default have the virtual inspection, the virtual authentication. Now, there are just some pieces that offer two, like the second layer, which is the in-person. So don't think that you won't get any expert authentication at all. Another thing is, if you don't do the second layer of protection, which is the in-person expert authentication before they ship it to you, then you can get the bag and you can take it somewhere like that if you choose. The seller was offering a 60-day return for free. So at any point within the next 60 days, I can return this item to them for free and they will refund me my money. 60 days is more than enough time to get it authenticated again, but in person on my own. So for the next tip, shopping on eBay, what seller do you trust? So for me, I particularly looked for Japanese sellers or sellers in Japan. And that's because I've seen a lot about Japan and Tokyo in particular having a lot of shops where they offer these high quality vintage pieces. People are actually going over there now just to shop the vintage secondhand market. Why Japan sellers are so trusted is because Japanese has very strict legal rules for selling counterfeits. So basically, sellers that are selling on the secondhand market or just selling vintage in general, they have to actually have a legal certification to do so. You will also find on eBay that some sellers are very transparent in mentioning that. It'll say, you know, I have XYZ certificate, and they'll even provide their serial number for their seller certificate in Japan. There are very strict rules about selling counterfeits there. And you're probably like, well, technically counterfeits are illegal in the US, but it happens too. Yeah, but our system isn't as strict. Now, one thing that I loved about the seller that I purchased from is that they had quick 2-day shipping. So it came through DHL pretty fast, way from Tokyo, and it was on my doorstep like 3 days later after he shipped it. There was a delay due to some of the weather that's been happening throughout the country here in the US lately. So it would have got here within 2 days, but it took 3 because of those delays. So now that I'm done with the tips, I'm going to get back to that piece where I talked about why I chose eBay over the Real Real. Real Real had a black PM and the interior was purple. And this is why I'm saying know your bag. So the interior was purple. And what I've seen across other sellers on different platforms, when I've seen the black bag, it has been black on the inside. The red bag has been red on the inside, and the green bag has been green on the inside. This one was different. And for this bag to be 30 years old, you know, I understand that Louis Vuitton, sometimes they'll get funky with their interiors a little bit. I don't know that to be true for the 90s necessarily, and for this bag in particular. And they weren't showing any of the serial numbers. And the serial number is actually very easy to see on this bag. Let me show you again. The serial number on this bag is simply right here. It's right on this piece engraved. So it's easy to find. I just was not understanding why all the sellers for this bag on the other sites, at least in the epi leather, of course, they were showing the serial numbers in their photos, but the Real Real was not. And then also the Real Real, they weren't offering free returns, or it was like non-returnable. And I thought that was odd too. So yeah, I don't want to use this video to bash the Real Real over eBay. I've purchased a Louis Vuitton bag from the Real Real before, about 4 or 5 years ago anyway. So I'm not trying to say that they're all bad, but I am saying why I was concerned about buying this particular bag from them. Even though, as I already mentioned, most counterfeits are not going to happen for vintage pieces that are this old. It just wasn't sitting right with me, so I went with my spidey senses and I went for this seller on eBay, and I just feel really good about it. Now, before we go, I want to compare the Randonnee PM to the GM, because you may be wondering that. If you are on the market for this bag, it might be good to show you a size comparison. So here is the GM. I'm going to back up a lot more for this one. And here is the PM. So there we go. You can probably see the difference a little bit better there. And that's why I say, let me turn it this way too. That is why I say to the PM that you can wear that probably a lot more on a day-to-day because it's not as big, and maybe rely on the GM more for when I'm going out of town because it packs more. And then also when it comes to putting this bag on, it's a little bit easier too. It's a little bit easier to wear this as a book bag than easier to wear this one as both a book bag and a slingshot. Let me show you the back. So, yep, there we go. And this one as a slingshot. I'm so excited to have this as a pop-up wardrobe in my color. I'm so excited to have this as a pop of color in my wardrobe. I really don't wear a lot of bright pieces. This red though, I almost couldn't resist it, but it's also another reason why I got it in the PM, a smaller version, because I didn't want something that was just red and too big. Like, I don't want this bag, like I've said in my other videos, I'm really cautious about things that try to wear me versus me wearing them. But this is also, I guess you could say, maybe a bit of quiet luxury. If you are not too big into like monograms and huge labels, you can really only see the Louis Vuitton right here in the corner. And so basically people have to know this bag. They have to kind of no fashion, I guess you could say, a little bit, to spot that maybe this is Louis Vuitton or whatever it may be. And I love that with a lot of things. I am trying to, or not trying to, I think I'm naturally gravitating towards things that are not too loud or too obvious. Too obvious, I think. Not loud. Loud is fine if you like loud. But I like to wear things sometimes that people can see and appreciate versus see and say, hey, oh, she might have a little bit of coin or, you know, whatever. I want people to see maybe my style a little bit more before they see or assume anything about me. And the only, like, I guess blemish on this bag is this little piece right here. I don't know what that is. It feels like glue or something, but I feel like I can get that off. Let me know down in the comments if you've had an experience with buying vintage or secondhand on eBay and how that went. Do you trust eBay? Is it something that you would prioritize over the other secondhand sellers? Let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please smash the like button and hit subscribe if you want to see more content from my channel. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Bye.